of labor markets in Nigeria. The labor market context explains the main stakeholders, actors, and the nature of environment of labor markets in Nigeria. It describes the peculiarity of labor market and its uniqueness in every economy. Labor markets context enable labor market analysts to easily compare labor markets in Nigeria with other countries using certain characteristics of the labor market actors and the peculiar environment. What's traditionally in industrial relations, according to Dunlop analysis, according to Dunlop theory, there are three main actors: employers, uh, and the business owner on one hand. You have the workers represented by trade union. Then you have the state, government state represented by governmental agencies, are the popularly known industrial relation actors, and together they form the tripartite structure in industrial relation. But however, in labor market, we have more than three actors that are stakeholders and imparted activities in labor markets in every economy, especially in developing area or sub-Saharan African country, which Nigeria is one of them. So labor market actors in Nigeria comprise of the employers, which could be government and private employers. You have multinational companies. They constitute an industrial relation actors. They constitute labor market actors because they have a lot of activities they've diffused into Nigerian economy, and that affects our labor practices, our employment practices. And most often, they ignore the labor practices and employment law in developing area because they believe that in their home country, they are advanced country and they have labor practices and employment law that is much more advanced than that of what is obtainable in Nigeria. So that's why they consider a separate actor. Then you have the international organizations like Bretton Woods institutions. The Bretton Woods institutions are the IMF and the World Bank, the ILO, and other international organizations that directly or indirectly they regulate employment practices in Nigeria. Then you have the trade union, which is one of the traditional industrial relation actor. You have employer association as well. Then you have the employed. The employed nowadays in our in our contemporary time may decide not to be a member of trade union, given the era of contract, casualization, triangular employment. So, and increasingly, union membership is becoming voluntary. So an individual may decide not to be a member of trade union and directly deal with his employer on individual bargaining. And we have seen in our recent days, in our contemporary time now, that there are individual workers who are highly instrumental to the production process in the organization, and therefore they have, even though they are individual, they have a bargaining power that can equate that of the collective bargaining power of their employers. So they also considered an actor in labor market process. Then you have the unemployed. The unemployed to constitute an actor because their activities consider a threat to those that are already engaged in one form of work activity or the other. Then you have the employment agencies and other stakeholders that contributed to the process of labor market. Then you have the labor market environment. Traditionally, the locus of power goes a long way to determine the kind of labor market you have in the industry, in your society. Then you have technology. Inflationary rate is one of the essential features of labor market of developing area because the developing area, they have an inflation that is not properly checked or regulated, and there is also characterized with high rates of unemployment. Those are the characteristics of developing area, and most often wage are determined outside the interplay of demand and supply. And when wages is to be determined by minimum wage, it is usually political, so it is determined by fear. When you want to determine minimum wage, you want to impose minimum wage, certain economic parameters must be analyzed. For instance, you must analyze the demand elasticity of of labor in the society, in your state, in your country, before you can impose minimum wage. Because if you impose minimum wage above equivalent wage condition, when the demand for labor is price elastic, it will generate high rates of unemployment because employers that are unable to pay will withdraw their employment. Then you have institutional rigidity. Institutional rigidity explain the high handedness of institution during collective bargaining process, the trade union, the employers, and the state. And that is a typical example of what is killing the public university in Nigeria, the rigidity of government and the union in that sector.